Hello everyone, I'm back at Southwick Cemetery. I was here a couple of days ago and I mentioned that I've never really been to a large proportion of the cemetery. I've only really sort of been around the chapel itself, and it was getting a bit dark the other night, so I thought I'd come back. Now I do apologise, it is a really windy day across Sunderland today, so there might be a bit of background noise because the mufflers don't keep out all of the background noise, so I do apologise. It's actually really busy at the cemetery today. Obviously people paying their respects to mothers who've sadly dearly departed, so it's quite busy. So I'll come over this side of the cemetery away from the more recent ones and actually see some Commonwealth grave ones over on that side, a relatively new bit. Now, just before I go on, I want to mention there is a Facebook group called Southwick on Weir Memories. So if you have an interest in Southwick, it's a great little group to check out. I posted the video to that group the other day, and somebody mentioned that they call this place SOUTHWICK Cemetery, which wouldn't surprise us because a lot of the cemeteries in Sunderland are also known by other names, such as me and all. Some people call it Seaburn Cemetery, and the one down Grangetown is actually called Sunderland Cemetery. Never mind getting into the names for the Gill Cemetery in the centre of town. In loving memory of Mary Jane, daughter of Mary Ann Johnson, who died October the 26th, I think that's 1895. She was just 25 years old. She had many years of suffering but died in peace. Sleep on, dear child, and take your rest. The Lord has something new for the best. And then there's another line there. Sadly it's snapped, that particular headset, it's broken. She had many years of suffering. She was only 25. Possibly she'd had consumption for a number of years. Memory of Ernest, the beloved husband of Isabella Stoker. See, just 27 years old. In the midst of life we are in death, which is so true about the Victorian section. Never saw this the other day. In loving memory of Private Francis Cutchy, beloved son of William and Catherine Robinson, who died of gas poison in Duston War Hospital, Northampton, August the 19th, 1917. He was just 20-year-old. Casualty of war. It's rare that you actually see a specific cause of death. You might see like an accident or of wounds, but we know poor Francis died of gas poisoning. I can't remember the first use of gas. I think it might have been 16 or 17 at Ypres maybe. So possibly an early casualty of that modern weapon. And then we'll come over here. I want to get down to the bottom bit actually. It's an absolutely gorgeous day, but it's a shame with the blue skies. It would be lovely to do a video without this background wind. I'll go over to this side, it's hopefully a little bit more sheltered. Also Charles, the beloved husband of Elizabeth Lister, who died July the 2nd, 1911, aged 71 years. Nothing in my hand I bring, simply to thy cross I cling. So I'll go over here, then I'll go down to that towards, is it Red House? I don't really know much about the north side of Sunderland, even though I've lived here for 30 years. I wouldn't know the difference between Marley Potts, Carley Hill, Witherwack. That's sacred to the memory of John Owen, who died in America, April 25th, 1900. Doesn't say which part of America. Somebody might know where this was. Affectionate remembrance of Elizabeth Davison, who died at the residence of her brother John Davison of Southwick Farm. Somebody might know where that would have been located. Obviously back in that, when was that? 1891. You think most of this side, north side of the river, there was nothing here. Just farmland. That mentions our dear parents Joseph and Mary Ann Lincoln, both interred in Southwick churchyard. So even there, obviously the church is called Holy Trinity, but people would refer to it as Southwick churchyard from this. Also of Emma and Arthur, their youngest children, both aged 29 years, bit of coincidence, they both died at the same age, not old either. And look at where the wicked cease from troubling and the weary are at rest. And then there's another Davison, really common name over Southwick. Eleanor, the beloved wife of John Davison, look at this, who died February the 29th, 1892, aged 24 years. Her end was peace, not gone from memory, not gone from love, but gone to her father's home above. This mentions Walter Robson Davison, son of the above, interred at Prudhoe churchyard. So certainly we've looked at, and men or women who lost their husband or wife at a young age, relatively young age. Look at this. That is Gunner T-Bury of Royalfield Artillery, 20th of September 1915. Another hero. Quite a mild day. Walk down this path over here. Great surname. Very appropriate for today. Wind. Anybody who watches these videos knows I like a good surname. Arthur Richard. Oh God, look at that. Beloved son of John and Isabella Rigby, who was accidentally killed at Hilton Colliery, June the 12th, 1914, aged 14 and a half years. What a tragedy, how young. Also Annie, their beloved daughter, died August the 8th, 1917, aged 20 years. So see how many young people? Whenever I do the written stories on Facebook, I always try and mention about TB. Obviously we don't know if that was what caused them, but it did kill millions of people in that era. Members of the Reynolds family. I did a video earlier today to see him, but it's not as windy here as it was over there. All spread out down here, so possibly was this the common ground. There's not many headstones down this section. Anne Byrne, who died February the 7th, 1890, aged 66 years. Then it mentions also the following interred at Bishop William House Cemetery. Because obviously there was a few cemeteries in Sunderland, so people might have lived at Southwick but have had connections to other parts of the area, and so were buried where other family members might be. It's a lot more open down here. And I can see from the distance Michael, the beloved husband of Catherine Collins, who lost his life at Monk Wearmouth Colliery, June the 14th, 1895, just 33 years old. The loss is great that we sustain, but we hope in heaven to meet again. That's a tribute from a wife. I think how many other widows would have lost their husbands and fought And some of the collieries around us here. Oh God, here's another one. William, the beloved husband of Anne Reid, who died by an accident in Monkwearmouth Mine, April 14th, 1888, aged 46 years. In the midst of life, we are in death. Probably the commonest one we'll ever come across. Mary Kennedy, 1887, age 69. The light is from the household gone, the form we loved is still, a place is vacant at our hearts that never can be filled. Think of her past with cheerful smiles and say she is at rest. We loved her well, we miss her much, but God knows what is best. And then also, come unto me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Lots of religious epitaphs I've come across today. And there's another one. I always thought you could get through there, but they must keep the gate shut. In love memory of Anderson Lodge, great name, who died 26 July 1898, 79 years. Also Anne, she died 1887, aged 75 years. The darkness is past, and the true light now shineth. Got a few minutes left, so I'm going to go back into this section up there. I was going to go over there because there's loads of Commonwealth grave ones spread out, but as I mentioned before, there's quite a few people paying respects to mothers, so I'll keep away from over there. Or grandmothers, as it is Mother's Day today. I don't think I looked at these on the way down. There's plenty of graves to look at up here as well, because if you checked everyone, you could spend hours here. I think the wind's died down just a little bit. Really well maintained as well, this. It's a great surname. Brettle, never heard of that one before. Brettell. I think this is probably the fourth visit I've ever been here. But it's a lot bigger than I expected when I found out about it. I remember years ago driving past on the main road and seeing some modern headstones, but I never had idea that there was actually like an old Victorian cemetery at the back. It was only because I was looking for that gentleman with the surname Tarrant, who I had on the other video, to find his headstone, because I was writing a story about him and his heroism. I don't think I've looked at these. That's another great name, Foster Angus. I notice there's been quite a few people with their Christian names that sound like they were surnames from other family members. But look, got all of those headstones there. I'd look at those, didn't I? Go to this bit here. When you come to places like this, I think that it's a history lesson for yourself. I've learned so much about Sunderland history visiting places like this that I didn't know before. Members of the Newman family mentions. I thought it had a torch. Brought it with us. It must be in the car. Mentions also there, I think that's 3 children who died in infancy. Another surname I've seen in here before, Place. Great surname. Go and see some soldiers or airmen before we end the video. H.O. Armstrong of the P.W.O. Civil Service Rifles, 6th of January 1917, just 19, he died that others might live. Another hero. And then there's 4. I can't remember if I looked at these ones yesterday, I might have done. If not, I can see another Commonwealth grey one. Yeah, I saw brown. WK Teesdale, Royal Artillery, 9th of March 1942, 27. And the bottom epitaph, until the day dawn. There's another one. Look at this, Forbister, I think that's a Orkney or Shetland name. Royal Engineers, 1919, age 33. He fought and died for Britain and the honour of his race. He was a sapper. A lot of these Commonwealth grave people, you can just go online, Google them, they might appear up on some websites about war memorials. Now this, I'm glad I found this. I did a story called The Lonely Grave at Ryhope about that random grave for a little girl which is by the wall. She is remembered also Mary Jane Keasley, daughter of the above, who died in infancy and interred at Ryhope churchyard. So this is the parents, William and Mary. So if you go on YouTube, I think it's called The Lonely Grave at Ryhope. It's all about that girl Mary Jane who sadly passed away. So it's one of the few headstones left at Ryhope, and it's just left in the corner. So I'm going to end the video now. So thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy it, please give it a like, and if you want to, click on the subscribe because it helps grow the channel, and I'll see you somewhere else next time. Thanks, I'll take care.